Hello, peoples. It's time. Tonight we are doing a pity party for those of us who cannot attend the Grand Masquerade. And maybe next year in Jerusalem, as they say. But we're doing a whatever the hell comes up thing tonight. But it'll all be basically Grand Masquerade themed stuff. But they're doing all kinds of things there this year, so I figure a lot of stuff is going to come up. So, of course, I want to thank our guests tonight. Lexie, say
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Come on, speak up.
Hi.
And, of course, our brother Victor.
Hello.
And my lovely co-host, Jacob.
Hello.
All right, we got one more guest coming. He's running a little behind, as usual, as anybody who's been listening to the show knows. Eric is always running late, and we tolerate it.
Because he leads a much more exciting life than we do.
Anybody
so
I know, right?
We forgive him
Apparently
for it.
he's a good person, so being late is allowed.
He is a good person. He is a good guy. And Lexie's been here for a couple of his shows, so... This is her first time on the show, actually, and she's mostly hangs out in the channel and taunts us in text. But she's always fun. She keeps the chat lively, which is what we want.
Yep.
So, all right, we don't really have any questions tonight, but for those of us, let me go ahead and pull it up while I'm at it. I wanted to go, kind of look at what they're doing this year for the Grand Masquerade, which is day after tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Yes?
Yep, September 1st.
And I think it should have been held on Halloween, but that's just me, I guess.
That's too cliche, though. I mean,
Yeah, what is it that
tricky.
Spike... What isn't that Spike says? No self-respecting vampire goes out on Halloween.
There you go.
That's right.
Yes, exactly.
So, so they're going to be doing this thing. I guess it's all at the Astor Crown. They've just taking over the hotel. Is that it?
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know.
And of
If
course,
yeah.
and of course, one of our guests, previous guests. Oh gosh, I cannot remember her name, and she's going to get mad at me.
Are you thinking of Jessica?
No, yes, Jessica. Thank you, Jessica Carrolls. She's doing a whole big. It's not Mind's Eye. It's she's doing the LARP for the
Hidden Parlor?
Yeah, Hidden Parlor. Thank you.
She's also got organized a Pokemon Go tour of New Orleans for Friday night.
Yeah, because
Really?
it's down. I think the Astor's near Bourbon Street, if I'm not.
I saw
mistaken.
that. I'm like, that'd be pretty cool, actually. Just like have just a whole bunch of people just swarming up and down the streets.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
All these
in
vampires
outfits,
looking for
all-
Pokemon. That's just going to be weird.
They have to blend in.
That's
they have to
for
kind of... It's all about keeping
That's
the
true.
masquerade,
Mind the masquerade, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. It's supposed to be a vampire themed gathering, so where else could you go and not worry about violating the masquerade? Because everybody else there is going to be violating the shit out of it.
So I guess Brandon has a question.
Okay.
Why are the podcast recordings not on Spotify to listen to later? I don't know the answer.
Okay,
so,
I guess it's because I hadn't thought of it until just now. Now we've been asked before why it's not on iTunes for downloading and listening to later, and Apple just makes you jump through so many bloody hoops to get it up. So it's a major pain in the ass that I just really don't want to deal with, to be honest. I mean, we're doing good with what we got, And until I can find somebody who's good at editing, then I don't feel comfortable putting stuff up, for consumption other than the archive at YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have a line on somebody who might be able to help us out with editing some of the previous shows, especially the ones where we had some serious glitches. And so, yeah. So, we're going
Good
to...
memories.
I'll let you guys know how that turns out. So, and I really would like to make this, I'd like to upscale a little, make this a bit more easy to listen to, because as I understand it, the whole flow of the conversation gets broken up when shit goes down.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, but mind you, like YouTube is also like pretty universal too, in terms of people being aware of it and it being user friendly and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good outlet for now. So
Yeah.
I'll check Spotify. Don't get me wrong, I'll try it. We'll see what happens.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, I don't know. I would prefer with an all audio thing to be able to download it outside of YouTube, just because YouTube beats up data depending on the situation.
Yeah, unless what is it, T-Mobile now that's letting you get Pandora and YouTube and everything free as far as data usage.
Oh, is it? Might be T-Mobile.
I think it's T-Mobile. I heard
bet
the
you it's not
commercial
Verizon.
earlier. No, it's not Verizon.
It's not
No, it isn't. I know that to be fact. Because I do get serious bandwidth issues when I'm on the road trying to pull up something like Pandora or something like that. And it eats up data like nobody's business. By the way, I want to say hi to everybody in the channel. Hi, Brandon. Hi, Sabrina. We'll get more folks as things come along. There's New Wave. Haven't seen them in a while. Where have they been?
Hiding.
They were around last week when we did Chronicles, I think.
I
Weren't
wasn't.
they?
Oh, yeah, I think they
Well,
were.
not last
they?
week, 2 weeks ago.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to find the pictures. There it is, the calendar. I wanted to
Yes.
see what they were planning to do. Nope, that's not it.
So
looking-
Thursday registration starts at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
So
it
there,
must
it's
have
right
not
out
even
the gate, and
functional
it
at
goes
that hour.
and it goes all the way till Sunday. The Succubus Club is running Sunday night from midnight until dawn.
Yep.
So
Who
it
the
is a
heck gets out of bed
very
at 10 in the morning?
full weekend.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like Red Bull's going to be flowing.
Oh,
Pretty
yeah.
heavy.
Well, and isn't this the first time they've really done much with tabletop at Grand Masquerade?
I think
From what
so.
I hear, yes. From what I hear.
And Justin Achille is not going to be there, as I understand it, but he's sending at least 2 minions with copies of the Prince's Gambit.
Oh,
Because
good.
it blew up at
Gen Con?
what was
Yeah.
it?
Gen Con.
Gen
Yeah,
Con.
Gen Con.
Yeah, they had people lined up out the door wanting to
That's
play.
not surprising though.
So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they weren't demoing it when I was there, but I heard about it. I went looking around and couldn't find anything related to Prince's Gambit directly, but
Huh.
I was probably just not there at the right time.
The power of observation.
Yeah,
I
well,
know.
you were there kind of spotty, as I remember. You mentioned that after you came back, you were sort of there, but then. All right, did we lose my connection?
No?
Oh, I
No?
can hear you.
Okay. Wow, it's saying no microphone detected. That's weird. See, these are the glitches I'm talking about. The Weaver's at it again. So, now they're
Darn
running
thing.
how many LARP games over the weekend?
A lot.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
I
going to sit and count here. Well, just Thursday itself is like a soft start to the weekend, and there's 2 Sabbat LARPs going on at the same time in the evening.
That'll be fun.
And overlapping with the VIP welcome party too.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
They're busy.
And then Friday we've got Camarilla Anarch games, we've got werewolf games, we've got character workshops, we've got one mixed venue Camarilla Sabbat Anarch game.
Oh, that's gonna go downhill in a big hurry.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh, that's just gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds more like a survival campaign than a...
Yeah, well, so I'm assuming that's got to be like some sort of either like a city under siege or something like that happening, or who knows. I'd be curious to find out what One World by Night is doing with that, because that could get really complicated or really ugly really fast.
Well, I'm looking. It's only a 7 p.m. to 11:30, so it's going to be short.
Yeah. Well, most of the games are. It looks like most of the games are only about 4 to 5 hours. So they are. There's no like 8-hour marathon sessions or anything like that. So
it's more than one person running it, though, right? Like each game, I mean. Yeah. So hopefully,
because they gotta have like. What, like 60
well, for that game, but
people?
that game in particular, like you would think that if it was one person running it, like, who?
Yeah, no, you'd think that probably each venue would have minimally one storyteller. Like you'd have a camp storyteller, a Sabbat storyteller, an Anarch storyteller.
Yeah, they'd have
Okay,
to.
am I reading this right?
I don't know.
What?
What are you reading?
Nisagaru, they're going to be there on Sunday?
Or
is that just the English version?
That's just that's either a panel or a game about the Garu Nation. That's not Nisagaru specific.
All right.
He sounds disappointed. He's like,
but there's actually, it's kind of cool. So it looks like Saturday and Sunday is where they actually have panels. So they have like Nordic LARP introduction.
Yeah.
That I'm really curious about that, because
White Wolf's keynote presentation, the future. That's they're to anybody listening who's going to this sucker. I'm expecting Facebook and Twitter to erupt at about 1 p.m. Local time on Saturday. So I'll be keeping my eyes open. You guys better spill the beans.
Roger that.
So I mean, it's really good. They got a movie screening, The Judas Goat, on Saturday.
Oh, come on. They should have picked something better.
Another Sabbat game on Saturday, but it looks like there's a lot of Garu stuff going on Saturday.
Yeah, I see that now.
Sunday, 11 a.m., Wolves and Whiskey.
Boy.
That's the best way to start a Sunday.
Oh, right.
I know, 11 a.m., right into the...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Why not?
Not a time for scotch.
Now, did anybody here, are they going to have the same DJ from Saturday doing the music for the Succubus Club, or they got somebody
I don't know,
live,
because Thursday, Friday, Saturday night it says DJ Amanda Jones, and then Sunday it just says Succubus Club.
Yeah.
So
canned
that's
music,
interesting to find out.
I hate to think they'd have DJs for the rest of the evenings, and then the canned music for the Succubus Club. I can't imagine that.
No,
it wouldn't be the Succubus
I wonder if they
Club
have.
with canned
I wonder
music.
if they have more than just the same DJ. So Amanda Jones on the first 3 nights, and then other DJs joining her, because it's midnight until dawn. That's a long party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can do it.
They probably have like split shift DJs or something.
Could be.
Labor laws and all of that,
Oh my! I'm so looking forward to that. I want to hear as much as I can about the Succubus Club. Now, granted, most people probably won't remember much.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
It's like
don't know how much you're
Woodstock. If
actually
you
gonna-
remember being there, you weren't actually there.
You weren't having a good time or something. Yeah.
So,
Victor, so at Gen Con, did White Wolf have, like, I assume they had a booth, but did they have panels? Was there any games or anything going on at Gen Con?
Yeah, so White Wolf actually did not have a booth.
Okay.
Elrickson was there, but I unfortunately didn't see him. The big World of Darkness presence at Gen Con is Onyx Path. I mean, I don't even think By Night Studios. If they were there, they weren't a substantial presence. But yeah, I mean, Onyx Path had 2 panels related to World of Darkness stuff, and then 1 or 2 panels on their own. We used to be White Wolf stuff. And then I think a couple of the developers from White Wolf were in the writing panels. So there was definitely a lot related to World of Darkness. But yeah, White Wolf themselves didn't make much of a presence.
Okay.
Maybe they just couldn't get in time, I guess.
Well, with their shakeup and everything through last fall and winter, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the other thing is when they first got started, it was just the 2 of them. It was Thomas Jorgensen and then Elrickson, and by the time they even had more people, I think they're only like, I think it's only a 3-person staff, maybe 4. So the amount of infrastructure.
There's 4 of them.
Yeah, to actually get like
all the Dane and
to run a booth.
Martin.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I think she's the most recent hire that I
haven't seen. Yeah, I haven't seen anything else, like at least on Twitter, in regards to them hiring or bringing anybody else on. She was the last person that I saw that was welcomed from their end of things. So.
Yeah, the poor girl's been up to her tits and shit since.
Yeah.
I've been watching, her posting, and she is busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, very.
That's good. I think she enjoys it. I think it's because she has such a passion for the game system. And we got Jake and I got to talk to her for a little while, and I've been trying to catch her, in a gap somewhere where we can get her on the show. And she wants to come on. It's just, living in Sweden, it's a pretty bad time difference issue.
Yeah.
You and I'll just have to get our asses up at 3 a.m. someday and throw her and Martin on. So
I would love to get Martin on. Oh man, and I guarantee you we'd have a lot more folks in the chat.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially if we add it real big.
Well, but you talk about busy people. I can't imagine he'd be easy to find 2 hours of his time where we could pin him down and just hammer all sorts of questions with him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was one thing that kind of came up at the Onyx Path panel was just the amount of stuff they're sending to the new White Wolf, and the new White Wolf is occasionally like, someone went on vacation. There are 2 of us. We'll look at it later.
Yeah.
So
I bet you those guys do a lot of reading.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the amount of stuff OPP is sending them.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of in the job description to read. So for that particular endeavor, I would definitely think that they would be spending the majority of their time looking over submissions or, just going through things that should be looked at. So.
Yeah, I mean, either editing the books or the sections that are coming in or all the licensing stuff they're doing.
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're hopefully, going to be licensing out for TV shows and video games and.
Oh, really?
I mean, that's
the word we're getting. We're not. It's nothing official yet, but those of us that are big gamers, computer gamers.
Well, and sometimes stuff like that develop, and sometimes they don't. Because Palladium actually had like really serious talks with the group. Wanting to develop Rifts as a movie, and apparently the company still has the rights. They just haven't gotten a script that they're doing anything with it. So
that's
That would I don't know. I think if there was going to be a Riffs movie, you'd have to tread on that carefully. I think.
I watched the Warcraft movie a couple of days ago. The new one. It was not. Okay, good. They got the history right. I'll give them that. And of course, they did have some really good actors. And even though most of the good actors were in so much makeup and CGI, you couldn't tell, because I usually keep an IMDb page open when I'm watching stuff.
Like me too, yeah.
And I was like, that's the Kurgan? What's his Clancy Brown? He plays one of the orcs. He plays Blackhand.
Ooh, that's a terrible name.
Well, there's a reason for it. Anyway.
I'm sure, but...
You didn't play WoW, did you?
Me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I spend so much time on that, you'd think I was like a
well then you know who Blackhand was.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course,
it's
Gul'dan.
Still a bad name.
I did not realize that Khadgar... Well, Khadgar was much younger than I expected him to be. And what's the Guardian's name? He had the tower. It's actually a dungeon now.
Yeah, everything is.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
Okay, hang on.
I wonder how do you think a World of Darkness MMO would function?
Well, we talked about it at one point, and unless you do Eternal Night, the only time that the vampires could be out is if you had a day-night cycle, would be at night. Mm-hmm. And that would cut their playtime in half.
But I mean, would you really, if it is no, because I guess World of Darkness encompasses a lot more than just those that could be out at night. So yeah, it would be really hard, I guess, to do an MMO and just cut out the day cycle entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's never going to go past vampires, but...
I don't see that happening. Werewolves are way too popular for that shit.
I mean... And I can't imagine what this would be like in a video game, but mages. I mean, if you really went wide with World of Darkness, people would want to be mages.
His name was Medivh. The Tower of Medivh.
Yep.
Couldn't remember.
Getting all nerdy.
I could not remember. But like I said, there's a lot of these people I knew, like the guy who played Anduin Lothar, Travis Fimmel, is from Vikings, one of my favorite shows. I don't know if you haven't seen it, you need to. It's actually loosely based on real history.
Loosely. You saw Martin's post about their costuming?
Yeah, I did.
And hi, Nassau. We got Matt and Igor peeking in here on the chat, too. So,
we were just talking about y'all. We were saying, I saw the listing for the Guru Nation at the Grand Masquerade, and I said, what? They're actually coming north of the border? What's going on? But apparently it's not y'all.
Peter was more like daydreaming about it. As opposed to...
I know. I like those. I really do. I like those guys. They're the only two werewolves I can actually tolerate.
Well, and so when I was asking about what their Gen Con presence was like, the lead-in for that was, so far, traditionally, we've basically had like the Grand Masquerade and maybe one or two other events kind of things, but there are so many different conventions and everything. How practical do you think it would be for White Wolf or Onyx Path or By Night Studios or whatever to branch out and get involved and run things like the End of the Line LARP at Gen Con or at San Diego or, at some of these other smaller conventions or something?
The smaller cons, yeah, but Comic-Con, no way.
Yeah,
there's
no way.
Room. And LARPs tend to take up quite a bit of space.
And I don't know. I mean, because White Wolf has said they really want to do the Nordic LARP thing, and I don't know. It would take a lot of effort to get all that together.
I think it would be kind of cool though, like because Comic-Con you get like any sort of con really. Mind you, I've only been to SDCC, and that was back in like 2007, so San Diego Comic-Con a while ago. But you get all sorts of people. It's not just, like the comic book nerds or the anime nerds. Or I think it would be cool if they could do not necessarily like a really big LARP, but for those who maybe want to get into it, but they don't have a jumping off point, like to have like maybe a little bit of I guess like a demo kind of thing. Like that would be pretty interesting to do. But again, that takes a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Coordination.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, like what Jessica's doing right now.
Yeah, like a lot. And it would be very, very, I think it would have some interest, but maybe not as much as because it would kind of be phased out by some of the bigger things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and that's just, like my mind wandering and stuff, because I'm like, that would be cool, like to have, because like the only conventions I've really gone to is the one in Calgary here in Alberta, and their gaming section seems to be shrinking every year, and I think it would
That's not good.
No, and like the one year, we actually had the Iron GM, or Iron DM tournament, and I participated in that. It was a blast. I was actually surprised at how many people were there that had never gamed before. So we had like totally newbies to the system trying to play and then rate the DMs on how they were running the things. And then the guy that won ended up getting to go to Gen Con for the North America for the national thing. So I mean, it was pretty sweet. And it was just like, I'd like to see more gaming at these kind of things. So it would be, if it's something that White Wolf, but I know we've already mentioned in this episode that their core personnel is pretty limited. So there's not a lot of spreading around that they can really do to have them.
One storyteller can't do it.
Well,
at even a decent sized con, one storyteller is not enough.
No, it's not. But I mean, they could also coordinate with one of the clubs, One World by Night or MES, and I think if they did that, it would be possible to coordinate and get consistent documentation.
Yeah,
you couldn't have the same people running it at every con.
No,
but yeah, I think they could do that.
Okay, so I have a question.
We need to start badgering Jessica at Hidden Parlor and say, so what convention are you guys running something at?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lexie. What you?
So I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm fairly new to the VTM World of Darkness LARP scene kind of deal. Anything involving World of Darkness, really. So, is there a reason that they are so limited for staff? Is it that they're a smaller company and they aren't hiring people on, or do they prefer it that way? Like, why are they so small?
Well, so they're so small right now because they're basically a startup. Up until, what was it, maybe a year ago? Yeah, so White Wolf was owned by a company called CPP, and it was a game company that had bought out. Or CCP, CCP.
They do Eve. You would know this. That's the game company that does Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so they were going to do an MMO. It didn't happen. Anyway, everything got sold off to Paradox, which is another video game company. But they spun off White Wolf into their own standalone, fully owned thing. And so they're basically the company, as this version of it, has existed for less than a year. So they're really just scaling up.
Yeah, they're just starting up kind of deal, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But still, if they wanted to do like a con-based thing, would they not be able to maybe reach out to, like local area, to whatever area they're doing the con at, like, or the con is being held at rather, like, could they not reach out to local like societies or people that could help with that sort of deal.
Yeah, but there's a lot of trust involved in that kind of thing
because they are representing the company, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
they're not necessarily. Yeah, you're not necessarily
and then have
just
them screw it up.
Yeah, and that's why we talked about like One World by Night or Hidden Parlor or something like that, because you wouldn't necessarily, they wouldn't like just put a post on their Facebook page, hey, who wants to storytell for us at Gen Con, and have, you know, like 4 or 5 guys that you have no idea what kind of storyteller they are to jump in and do it. So,
all right, who's blooping?
Me.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm a problematic person. It's my fault entirely.
No, it's Joel's fault.
Sure.
That's a long story. It's even his fault for the eventual heat death of the universe. We've already covered that.
Oh, cool. I don't have to. I'll cross that off my to-do list.
There
then,
you go.
I'm worried about
Joel's got it covered.
I actually know a guy named Joel. I'll let him know.
Oh my God, Joel, the guy I'm talking about. He used to play Jihad with us back in the day. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night, we used to have, on average, 10 people in our apartment playing Magic or Jihad, or both, depending on whether you got killed off of one game and and we just switched over to the other one. And he wound up going to some weird freaking Christian cult thing. I was like, oh, dude. And nobody's seen or spoken to him in 25 years. It's creepy. It really is. It bothers me that just some of my friends could just drop off the planet like that.
Ooh, look at that. 111 subscribers.
Oh, yay. Awesome. Was that you?
Who, me?
Were you the one...
Oh, I subscribed a long time ago.
Oh, okay. But somebody mentioned, I guess, the scheduling will actually alert folks now.
I get notifications on my phone.
Yeah, me too.
It tells me whenever anybody I'm subscribed to on YouTube either posts, comments, goes live, whatever. So it comes up as like a reminder, like, oh, this person's going live soon, just so you know. It's like, all right, cool, thanks. I'm not busy or anything.
Right.
So, yeah.
I watch another show, Doug Benson, Getting Doug with High.
Oh, jeez.
It's where he gets a bunch of stand-up comedians on, gets them high, and does exactly what we're doing right now. That's actually where I got the formula for this show. Except not everybody here's smoking. Or they might be. I have no idea. But the point is, we figured out that the good number is 4. Seems to be. We're doing extra folks tonight because of the whole Grand Masquerade, and I wanted to try and get an extra person in. We were hoping to get one more, but she bailed on us at the last minute. She just moved. That's Vanessa.
Don't ask me about my LARP experience. Bad, Chris.
There's your answer, Chris.
What do you want to know? Like, you can't just be like, ask Lexie about her LARP experience. Give me a jumping off.
Lexie, could you tell us about your LARP experience, please?
Oh my gosh. Could you be any more vague?
Yeah, right.
I could.
I know.
Brandon wants to hear now.
Well, he knows. He's there. What, Cage, stop it. Don't encourage it. I don't know. Okay, somebody asked me something. I don't know. Go on. I'm an open book.
By the way, I just, you may have heard it. I sent the 2 of the pieces of the costume to Jacob. What do you think?
The cloak and the mask looks cool.
How that looks a lot like Charon, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
If you'd like, Victor, I'll send them to you too.
I would love to see that.
You should be posting them in the comments of the link of the show so everybody can see it.
I will do exactly that. Yeah.
This is why you lose viewers, because you exclude people. Come on now.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. All right, here we go. I'm going to pull up the whole list. I'm just going to go ahead and post the list to the chat, And there's a one piece at the bottom that I was looking at it as kind of a set piece, something to carry around in my hand, because Charon isn't normally noticed. It doesn't have the sickle or the scythe like the Reaper does. So
Chris gave me a jumping off point.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. What? Whoa. Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
2 questions.
We'll do Chris's 2 questions there.
Why did I decide to play? I was raised in a theater environment. My parents met doing theater, so theater's always been like a love for me. I grew up acting, singing, that whole thing. My husband, who I actually met gaming, did a LARP a while ago. I believe Chris kind of crashed that one once or twice and messed with Michael a little bit. But one of our friends, Serge, who was actually running the game at the time, was a constant gamer at our place and had been like, hey, so we're doing this LARP thing. You guys should come play. And I had always wanted to try LARP because it has all the elements that I love in it, the acting and the when I'm in a good mood, interacting with people. So that's kind of why I thought that it would be really fun to do. It's in a setting that I've always really enjoyed, the supernatural thing. So that's kind of why I decided to play. Then it got me out of the house. I have a kid. I want to get out of the house once in a while.
Absolutely.
How have I grown as a player in the last year? Personally, I think I've kind of started to learn how to play the game a little bit better, and I mean play the game quote unquote as in, play dirty, hit hard kind of deal. I, as a person, really hate confrontation. Like, it's one of the things that I avoid like the plague. My character, however, Anara, yes, it's a Firefly reference. She seems to like to start trouble. So it's I've kind of learned to not take things personally too. Like in-game, out-of-game separation kind of deal, which has been really hard for me. But I'm working on it. And yeah, it's been fun so far. How has LARP influenced my gaming style? Geez, other than the money I'm spending on like costuming and all the makeup and crap I have now. I mean, it's like I try to choose something different every game, and oh man, like I'm looking at my dresser right now and I've got my goggles and my fake revolver just kicking around, and so I mean, it hasn't really influenced I mostly do tabletopping, so it hasn't really influenced it too much, other than my creativity in terms of like costuming and stuff, I guess you could say. Yeah, like I'm getting really creative with just picking something out of the closet and going, yeah, this is an horror, I'll make it work. So yeah. All
right, we just lost Victor. He is feeling somewhat under the weather, and we let him go ahead and bow out, and that's I'm hoping he'll be okay. It's not something terribly contagious or
are you worried about that? Are you?
Oh, come on, Eric, where you at, man? I'm about to grab Mateus and Igor here.
Yeah, they're online.
Since they're actually on.
More than merry.
You guys are still in the channel, I think, aren't you, Matt? And Igor? If you are, give us a sign. I'll grab you and drag you into the conversation. This will be one of those sort of weird roundtables that'll work real well, I think.
Yeah, especially you know what? Like, for what you're doing in terms of like the theme of the show, like this particular episode, it actually works really well to have that sort of people to bounce things off of, because it's supposed to be a pity. You can't have a party with like 3 people. No, I mean, I'm here, so that helps.
Exactly, which is why I mentioned earlier about the show format with the 4 people, is you start bouncing stuff back and forth, and it'll take on a life of its own. By the way, I tried to post the list to the channel. It will not let me. It says message not sent, error, try again. I did it twice.
All right.
It doesn't
I'm sure you can we can find a way to upload that. I can find a way to upload those pictures somewhere for you.
Yeah, we can do it at the Tempus page.
Yeah.
Do it there because I don't want anybody else.
So Chris's question, I'm actually going to address all three of us here, and Chris is available. I'm going to go throw him. You're going to grab him?
I got him.
Okay. So Chris is asking whether we would try playing a different type of LARP. So we'll start with Lexie, but then I want to get Peter. I want to get Peter's views, and I'll answer that question too. So,
Chris, come out of AFK, man.
Would I try playing a different LARP? Honestly, right now I'd say probably not. It's more of a personal thing, not like there's nothing out there that I wouldn't be interested in trying. It's like, cause Chris, like I was in 2 games at once, and I tend to get stressed really easily, and all the stuff that was going on in both games, like I got really overwhelmed and just petered out like real quick. Eventually, I would love to try a different type of LARP. I'd like to think of myself as pretty versatile in interests. So I'm one of those don't knock it till you try it kind of people. So yeah, I would definitely.
A couple friends of mine in the Netherlands, they do a Serenity Firefly LARP.
Ooh, I do that for sure.
And they are and so they got quite a few people involved in that. So that would I'm assuming with all of the Firefly references you sprinkle everywhere, that would be something that would catch your eye.
For those who don't know, my character's name is Anara Shepherd. Her middle initial is B, which actually stands for book. So yes, it's Anara Book Shepherd. Her name literally is a Firefly reference, and I do tend to break the fourth wall because it is Modern Knights. I do tend to have her be into Firefly and nerd culture and that sort of thing. So it's definitely.
Yeah, Chris is still getting his mic together, but there you are, man. How you doing?
No, not bad, Pete. How are you?
We're doing good, man. Better than average, I guess.
There we go.
So now you could actually ask your questions in person.
Dylan.
But
I can really pick on her, hey?
Yeah.
So
Chris
Peter, you can answer the question next there, Peter. Because we know that you've talked very lengthy times about your vampire character that you've LARPed, but would you try a different kind of LARP?
Yeah, I actually, like I said, there was a time there when I was flirting with being a Scadian, which is kind of LARPing. And then I don't know, to be honest, I don't know that I've ever actually looked into any other kind.
I don't know if this would really count. I mean, thinking back on it, I did grow up in California. I did go to, I was a part of, Renaissance Fair for a while. So, that's pretty LARPy. I mean, you're in the clothing, you have to talk the same way. And they have very strict rules. You have to stay in character. So, I guess that's kind of LARPy, I guess.
There is no OOC, yo.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can try and get them to break character, but oh man, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, if they're good, they don't.
Most of them actually don't.
One of the things I have noticed with the White Wolf LARPing is that there is more going on OOC than there is actually in the game.
Yes.
And
it depends on the game. I would say. I mean, I've only done 2 different games, but I think it kind of depends on the game, and I think the setting helps too. Because I have found our game set in the Dark Ages, there's less OOC than the Modern Knights one, because you're costumed up more. You've got your medieval mindset. The setting is medieval. Whereas in the modern knights, every K-Knight has a frickin' cell phone. Everybody, so you can, if you're standing alone for 5 minutes, you can pull out and look at face.
Get 5 dots in contact, yo.
Right.
I also think that a big part of that, though, like you're comparing the Dark Ages game to the Modern Knights game. I think a lot of that too has to do with how storyteller driven it is. I have known DMs, GMs, storytellers that will throw something in there and then go hard, do your thing, twist it how you want. And then there's the more story driven, like quote unquote story episodic games like the ones that Chris and Shane are doing, the Dark Ages one, that seem to run a little bit smoother and have less OOC because there's a constant drive from the storytellers and there's constant pouring out of ideas and directions to go. You know what I mean? So it definitely depends, I think, too, on how driven it is by the person running it, too.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's fair.
Yeah. And it depends on the players too. Like, come on.
Well, there are a lot of players that do tend to use. Let's see. How should I put this without coming across as a complete asshole?
Is that possible?
OOC to influence their in-character shit by being a complete ass in general.
Yes. For example, me and my husband, when we first started in the Modern Knights LARP, I was his child and he was my son. It was the worst idea ever, let me tell you. I freaking hate it. Mind you, I had never made a character, so he made my character for me and was like, here you go. But he, when his old character died, thank goodness, because my God, that guy was a douche. It's been really kind of interesting because he's playing a Nos and I'm still playing my Brujah. And, we try not to talk too much about, other than the fact that I'm the sheriff and he's the prince and we have to talk about certain things. We try not to talk about game too much at home or anything because we don't really want to know what the other person's doing behind their backs, sort of deal. It's definitely interesting to not to try and section off that out of character from the in character. But subconsciously, I'm one of those people that think subconsciously, if you're hearing about it out of character, you're somehow going to have it influence your in character somehow.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I agree with you, Lexie, that you have to separate your in character out of character when you're living with somebody. Because in the past, I've lived with LARPers, and you wouldn't believe how quickly the whole game overtakes your life when you're living with 4 other guys you LARP with every weekend, right?
As the British put it, it goes old pear-shaped.
It does. So learning to put those boundaries up is probably a good thing.
Oh, yeah. No, we learned that very, very quickly. We had to. Like Mike's tabletop group, a lot of them play VTM with us. So it's definitely one of those things where we've kind of put on, hey, look, it's D&D night, no VTM talk, like just D&D, like that's it. So it's definitely a good idea to have that sort of out of character, in character boundary thing, for sure.
Well, another big notice with the Modern Knights to the Dark Ages game is you don't get to play with your phone as much.
No.
Right? So you're not looking at your phone doing stuff. So I've been reading about Modern Knights, how some of the games have been dealing with the people looking at their phones, and they're running Twitters and they're running a Facebook page where they actually throw story elements into their gaming session through that technology. So
now I would allow
that's a cool idea.
If I was running a Dark Ages game, I would allow them to look up stuff on their phone, rules stuff, but that's it.
Well, wait. Well, I would think because my character, first of all, she's a techie chick, she's very tech heavy. But I would think because my character does have a few, I wouldn't say friends, but people that she connects with in the court for various reasons, help her with things her deputies, so on. And she does have their contact information, like cell phone information. And I have actually in game taken out my phone and texted the player because my character's in another location, but I actually have that character's contact as well, and I would be able to text them. So, I mean, I do kind of implement that, but only in the sense that my character would have that information. Like, it's legitimately been known that they have a way to contact each other if something goes, like, hits the fan or whatever. So,
I've
it
got
depends.
Eric on message. He's coming. I'll grab him as soon as he comes up.
Okay.
Grab him
cool.
gently. He sounds like he's had a rough run.
He's installing Skype? What? Wait a minute. Huh?
Well,
Oh, Eric.
it just needed to be upgraded anyway.
Okay. No, that I can deal with. Long
I'm on
story.
my-
1 second. That's funny. That's some funny shit, yo. All right. So, if you were going to be at the masquerade, what would you be doing? Now, I mean, the amount of crap there is going on, you can't do everything.
No, because and some things are overlapping. So
Yeah.
you had to really kind of pick and choose what you were doing.
Honestly, if I was there, I honestly think that because geez, how many more times can I say honestly? If because I'm new to the whole scene, and just the type of person I am, I would probably just wander and observe. Because that's how
lurking, huh?
Yeah, well, don't give me that attitude.
I didn't. That was an attitude. That was a statement of fact. It was lurking, huh?
Yes, I would be lurking. Because
That's cool. No, that's cool. Because you can actually... Here's the thing. A lot of the people that we've suckered into LARPing stood around watching for the first game or so.
Oh, I didn't. But, I mean, I wish I could have in retrospect because I literally, my husband gave me a character, said, we're going to this thing, like, pick an outfit, we're going to this thing, and I jumped right in.
We're going to this thing.
I was like, what's a Brujah dress like? And I think I do okay, but I'm not your stereotypical Brujah. So I sometimes come dressy. I mean, it depends on how I feel that day.
I'm going to say it again. The J isn't an H.
I don't care. I'm a rebel.
Just saying. Okay,
Brujah.
that particular time period from where that particular clan comes from, the J was a J sound.
You know how it was pronounced in Mesopotamia 6,000 years ago.
Etruscan, it's still a J.
Brujah. It's Brujah.
Isn't it actually like a Hispanic-rooted word or something?
Brujera is.
It's Brujah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what it is. Pardon me, my brain is tired.
I know. Look, everybody since
Babylon
Kindred the
Abba
Embrace
sound?
came out has been calling it Brujah, and I cringe every time. And that's cool. If you want to say it that way, that's you.
Make you twitch a million times more then, because
Good.
I don't twitch for anybody.
I hope you do. Because we like having you around, actually, even if you're just in chat. You're fun to have.
I'm glad you think so, because, that opinion tends to be.
As I mentioned earlier, you keep the chat hopping, and we've had some other folks that are doing a good job, like Chris, and New Wave Masquerade. Still have no idea who the hell that is, but I like them.
Wow.
Well, I mean, come on, anybody who shows up for our live show and is actually interacting is somebody I want here. Oh, yeah. That's true. But if you're going back to true Brujah, the J wasn't an H sound. I'm just saying. My mother had 2 PhDs. One of them was in history.
So how far back are you going? Are you going like Carthage back?
6,000 years, give or take. And some of those languages aren't spoken anymore, so we don't know for sure. You're right.
That's right.
But there are a couple that
I'm just busting your balls on it.
That's okay. Like I said, that's one of the reasons I love you people.
Yes,
Don't
Mr.
keep
Chris.
me on my toes.
I was just going to ask about your son.
Okay.
Coming to our LARP.
Yes. So
And,
he was the opposite of Lexie. Is I was trying to get him. I'm like, you know what? I'll help you make a character. You can go in
Talking
and
about
play.
Darius?
And he's like, yeah. And he's like, no, I'll just watch. I'm like, okay. And then by the end of the night, he's like, you know what? He's like, I didn't realize it was going to be so laid back. He's like, I probably could have just played. So now,
He did play kind of, sort of, like for like 5 seconds.
yeah, Chris really did good in trying to get him involved.
Yeah.
Even as him just being a lurker. So we spent like the whole drive home after the afters talking about what kind of character concepts and what he would like to try, and if he's up visiting me on a weekend that we're gaming, he wants to come and actually play next time. So
He did seem to actually, like, even just watching, like, when Anara and Chorus were interacting, like, he did seem actually, like, generally, like, interested in it, like, he seemed like he was having a blast, like, either way, just, like, sitting there, especially when Shane exploded. Like, not, like, literally.
You mean Cauldron of Blood exploded, or?
Yeah, no,
no,
a ghoul
started shouting.
Yeah, our Harpy, for very just reasons, had to have a shouting match with the Seneschal.
Oh, of course.
So, yeah, and it was very interesting to watch.
It's Camarilla.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Not.
That is a Spanish word, and it is Camarilla.
I could always use a couple more minions at game, to tell you the truth. So.
I wouldn't doubt
No.
that.
They're fun.
Actually.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough for you. You got to find others.
Oh no! See, different tiers.
Different tiers. Okay, there you go.
Minions.
I have my uses, and that's different than what regular people can do.
But yeah,
a skill set's a skill set, and you use
Yeah.
what you got.
And I am definitely a tool.
Yes, you are.
Do you have any Tremere in the game? I'm just curious.
Yes,
Well,
actually.
There's an interesting story behind that one.
We just managed to get one blood hunted, didn't we?
That's
Yeah.
dangerous. That's like trying to blood hunt a Nosferatu. It's dangerous because
Not
if
really.
the pyramid
Hey,
turns
we're
on
not
the
the-
city
we're not-
all
We're not
over.
the prince. We're not the prince. We're not the ones that called the blood hunt.
Yeah, but if that doesn't matter to the pyramid, and you know it.
Yeah,
if
well.
you break the rules and you get caught, you pay the penalty.
Yeah,
That's
the way
true.
it works.
Exactly. So,
That
yeah.
doesn't mean the higher ups in there. That's the thing with the Tremere. The pyramid's always there.
they're definitely going to stick their nose in it. Like, I mean, that's a given. But, interesting.
You guys
story.
aren't as tough as you think you are. Just come on. Just calm down. Relax.
I could stake you with a tree. Would you prefer
Ever since
that?
they nerfed them, I'm not worried about the Tremere anymore.
Yeah.
Gee, what did they do? What did I miss?
Oh, it's hard to be a Tremere these days, I tell you. No respect. No respect.
Right? Completely Rodney Dangerfield here.
Yeah.
If
No,
they
they neutered them with minimizing their power, their thaumaturgy, and they changed a bunch of the thaums so it doesn't work the same way.
What?
The rituals
Notice.
are...
I did notice that, like, because I was reading some of the older material for the clans and stuff, and then reading, like, the newer stuff for what the setting we're doing. It's totally different, especially for Tremere. Like, they completely
What, were
made
we
them
too
look-
OP? Is that the problem?
apparently.
Yeah.
And your point is?
I'm going to stake you with a
No,
tree.
I like being OP. I do.
No.
But I'm not one of those people who goes around slinging it in everybody's face. I like to be the OP guy
had
in the
one of-
background, and when shit goes down, that's when all the fireworks come out.
Well,
Yeah, but
when you
isn't
got-
isn't
when
that
you-
what isn't that a Melkavian? That's not a Tremere. That's what Melkavians do.
No.
And when,
No.
when you got
It's
thaumaturgy that can counter every power out there,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
well,
can see how
that's
that'd
a
be
little
an issue.
unfair.
And of course, everybody hates us, so I figured OP is the only way we stay functional.
Hey, I like the Tremere as long as they don't make wards in my domain without asking my permission or anything like that.
They should all go back to where they came from and worship their worm god.
Yeah.
You can always trust it to me. I'm sorry.
Don't eat the worm.
Don't eat the worm. Oh, jeez.
Why not?
All right, Eric is still installing. Apparently, he has a bandwidth issue where he is, so it may take us a few more minutes. So we'll have him for the last half of the show. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out now. If you like what we're doing and if you'd like to hear us do more, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, tell your friends, tell your family, tell you, as Lexie put it, tell the world, let everybody know.
Prepare your body. Yeah.
Yes, and I'd like to see more people in the chat during the live shows. I really would. We get some really good views on certain shows. We're starting to learn what people want to hear about and what people want to talk about.
Yeah. Actually, I love sitting in the chat and kind of participating. You know what I mean? Like last time you guys did a show, I was around because my computer cord decided to be evil, but I got that fixed, so yay.
Good.
But, it's actually, even, hello, Gabriel. But just sitting on the sidelines and kind of, talking to the people in chat is really fun to do, too. So, it's definitely good to have people in the chat that are talking.
Tell them, New Wave, you can't trust us? Nope. Don't even think about it. Just assume we're going to stab you in the back. It's going to happen sooner or later, and the Setites, as he pointed out, are the same way. So,
you are trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, if I was going to play another game and I was going to pick a different clan, that's the one I would take. With 5 dots in contact, of course, contacts. I want to, kind of like Hesha, but with a little bit more of a more combat-oriented skill set.
Yes, that's combat.
Here's a question for you guys.
Okay.
In a gaming scenario, in a vampire scenario, how many elders should there be in a city?
Very few.
1.
Very few.
Maybe 2. Tops.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say 3 tops, but not as
no, because when you get 3, then you start having to deal with the jihad.
Well, that's perfect. But I would say I think it should be. I think it should be fairly. I think it should be fairly rare. Depending upon the size of the LARP, I could see where maybe the primogen of every clan is an elder. But we're in North America. Technically, most Canaanites should be ancillae or neonits.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be a lot of elders sitting around.
No, the elders are all in Europe. That's where all of them hang out.
I'm going to go ahead and use Red Deer as an example. We are literally a small city in between 2 big cities. Why the heck are there, or at one point there were anyway, so many elders in the middle of nowhere?
Because nobody wants to play a neonate.
I understand that, but I see. And even if I wasn't a first timer, my character literally just turned to an Insula. I think that having that experience of being a neonate and toughing your way through it kind of builds your character, though. I don't think you just start as I'm a god. You know what I mean? That's kind of. I don't know. For me, anyway, I just feel like it takes away that element of if there's too many elders, it's like having too many cooks in the kitchen kind of deal. Then you just get the power struggles.
No, you start after a while. At least 2 of the elders are going to get pissed at each other, and then you have open war. And that is one of the worst things. Not
necessarily. Not necessarily.
No.
Because if they're elders living in the same city, they are probably remnants of a coterie. They've had some sort of equilibrium over the last few decades. Things are less likely to explode. It's more likely that some hot-headed neonates or ancilla are going to try to exploit the elders' differences, right?
So okay,
Been there, done that.
So and I think and that's where like I'm the last couple of months just in various conversations either through our podcast or even on like Facebook groups or whatever, just finding out how many people throw so much of their background dots into generation, and I think it's silly.
A waste.
But it doesn't impact game. It doesn't impact game as much as I think some people think it does, especially for LARPs. Like in the course of an evening, does it really matter if you have 20 blood points or 15 blood points or 12 blood points? Like how much does that, like, who gives a shit? It's not going to impact your ability to play the character through the night.
Well,
And
wait a minute.
it really suspends disbelief when, you know, like if you're in a Modern Knights and you're in a smaller city and you've got 20 players and 18 of them are elders and 2 are ancilla, what the fuck are they all doing in this shitty town?
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
How badly do you guys suck that you could not get any kind of power base?
Why aren't you in Chicago
or you know, even
Edmonton,
like Toronto,
or
Vancouver,
Calgary,
right? And or even like in Dark Ages. So with so much travel and warfare and all this kind of stuff, why would you have one country where every single K-Knight in that country just happens to have maxed out generation and is 900 years old? Well, if you guys are all 900 years old, why haven't you conquered all the countries in the area and you guys are all buddy nations instead of all hanging out? If I was fifth generation and I've been hanging out with my coterie for 8 centuries and I have to sit there and bow to my buddy who is no better than me, but just because he happens to be the king or prince or duke or whatever, how much do I suck that I can't go and take over another country and be a prince myself?
Pull your balls out of your
city,
purse,
not
man.
country.
Right?
Jeez, sounds like one of the places I know. Hey, Lexie?
Yeah. Good Lord.
Just saying, in theory.
In theory. Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically.
But
but honestly, myself, tabletop, I've very rarely put more than just a couple dots in generation. A lot of my characters, I don't even put anything in generation. I play a lot of 12th, 13th gen characters. And for LARP, I think, did I put 2 dots in generation for my replacement Dark Ages character? Anyway, I to me, there's like so much other stuff I'd rather spend it in. If I'm going to put 5 dots in a background, I want to influence or hurt. I don't want it in generation.
There's like other things you should be spending it on. And like for me, like first game, even if it wasn't, I really enjoyed over the last year being the neonate who caused a whole bunch of shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like it was fun for me.
There's always one, isn't there?
You know what? You don't even know.
There's
But
always one.
it was actually like as my first time character and like as a first time player, it was really, really enjoyable for me to build my character, to have her, you know, she had at one, like for actually most of the time that I've had her, maxed out for status. Maxed out completely. And, you know, like for a neonate, and she had something called the Order of Montgomery, where she was...
That's just all kinds of boons is what that gets you.
Not even. Like, I barely had any boons or
Really?
anything. No, she was... And I had a target on my back because of it.
Of course.
But she was, you know, like, as a person, I loved playing that neonate and watching her evolve and building her, as opposed to, I'm just going to play an elder and walk in. I don't know anything about the game. I'm not going to play an elder. Like, and I mean, I'm not saying you have to know things to play an elder. I'm just saying it helps. You know what I mean?
Yes, it does.
So piggybacking off of this question then that I just asked.
Go ahead.
If we piggyback off of this in the LARP scenario, using that, how comfortable now, Lexie, would you feel playing the actual antagonist of a game?
I'm so torn on that. I would love to do that. I think, like, I would absolutely love to do that just for the fact that I would be like, haha, I'm fucking with all of you. You know, because that would be really fun for me. But at the same time, I feel like it would be kind of a lot of work and really stressful. So I love the idea of it. Like, I, as a person, love the idea of making a character that is, even if it's behind people's back and literally, like, you know, very sneakily, especially sneakily, sabotaging the crap out of, like, everybody at once, that would be fantastic. I would love that.
See, now that's the jihad. That's exactly what that is not using, I mean, other than maybe resources or contacts, but you using your ability to cause strife and conflict without actually having to involve yourself in said strife and conflict.
Yeah,
like theoretically, if you were to arrange for one elder to be diablerized and then frame another elder for doing it and have a bloodhound called on him, that would be kind of like what an antagonist could do behind the scenes.
That's the jihad.
Right, Chris?
I've never heard that plan. I've never heard it, never done it.
No?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know nothing.
I plead the fifth. Yeah, no, like, honestly, like for me, when it comes to playing that sort of character, because again, I do tabletop a lot, and I've tabletop for a long time, and when it comes to playing that sort of character, I honestly prefer the route of going, you know, under the radar, as opposed to being, hey, I'm the big bad wolf. It's, oh, no, we're buddies, but by the way, this person said this about you, and they're planning. And then going to the other person being like, oh, you see that guy over there? Oh, man, you should hear the things he's doing. Like, you know what I mean? Just pitting people against each other and then sitting back with popcorn and watching the world go to hell. Like, that's
what I like to do.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Oh,
looks like there's a very active conversation going on about the Bali in chat.
Yeah.
Gabriel was asking about what was it there about if the differences or similarities between Bali and Setites.
Yeah, the sledgehammer scalpel analogy. I like that one. That worked. Gabriel says, have you guys ever met a Bali or any other infernalists in a LARP session?
Yes.
We have many infernalists in our Dark Ages campaign that we are pitted against. I actually had the opportunity to play an infernalist disguised as my character for most of one session.
Ever.
Yes, we have met them. As far as Bali, I don't know if there was any Bali involved. Most of my personal gaming with Bali have been over tabletop or online. So
I've never met one. Yeah.
With LARP, you can Infernal, Bali, their storyteller uses only, in my opinion, because you cannot trust a player to go out there and not totally tear your game apart with those powers.
Well, and I was really disappointed. V20 kind of started doing it, and then BNS went even more so. I didn't like how they totally cemented the Bali as being all infernalists. Like, the Daimoinon discipline itself is infernalist in creation. I like Revised had it a little bit more ambiguous, where a lot of the Bali seemed to think they were infernalists and they had access to dark thaumaturgy, but the discipline itself wasn't necessarily linked directly to. And there was a lot of, I think, more role-playing opportunities with them in that situation, other than just have them as the black hats. Like, same with Nefandi. Like, why do we, the world of darkness has so many different shades of gray. Everybody is evil. Everybody's an asshole. Why do we need to make one part of the game the black hat? Like, why do we have to say the Bali are absolutely irredeemably evil under all circumstances.
Yeah, but the same was said of Tremere for a long time.
Well, that's true with the Tremere, but that actually proves my point.
Smart ass.
That that we already have the Tremere, we already have the Setites, we already have the Sabbat, we already have
just
all
pick
these,
another really fucked up
like
clan?
why do we need to have one clan that is just absolutely irredeemably evil and wreck it for any use other than stock NPC bad guy monster of the week bullshit?
A call to trial. Justice by combat.
I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, by the way, Lexie had to go AFK for a minute, so we're going to keep talking. Okay.
Well, my question then, Jake, off of that to you would be, if would the Dark Ages game run better now if instead of using the Infernalists, the way that we've implemented them as one of the main bad guys, basically, because that's what we were given, if I were to change that to the Setites, or to, I don't know, the Tremere, would it have the same effect and flavoring if I were to use them that way? Or would I have to completely skew my whole line of Tremere or my whole line of Setites in the game?
You could do it. You guys actually, because Ravnos are not allowed as a player characters, you guys could have even just had Clan Ravnos as the bad guys.
Why? Wait a minute.
Just don't worry. With very little modifications. But Infernalist doesn't necessarily mean Bali. And I don't think Bali necessarily has to mean Infernalist. So, I mean, you guys have Infernalists, but unless you're, like, giving us a secret here, I'm not under any assumption that they are actually Bali specifically, even though they have been linked with the Bali pits of Carthage. So...
Well, they wouldn't name a pit after them if they weren't infernal.
I suppose, but
no,
but you know, but I mean, like you could, you could have similar effects. I mean, if you've got Nosferatu, Gangrel, and Shemise players, I'm sure you could make Tremere the Black Hats in a Dark Ages campaign, and nobody would bat an eye.
Nope. And
the entire venue would just, all unite and let's burn down the Tremere.
Burn down the Chantry.
Especially if you like hint that you guys might be able to change history. Maybe the Tremere don't get the upper hand. Maybe I really liked how Dark Ages 20 in the appendix has a whole bunch of different what ifs that they're like, if you want to carry on, here are some ideas. And one of their ideas was that the Tremere didn't succeed in pulling off what they did to get. Well, yeah, so they didn't pull off the blood curse with the Assamites. They didn't manage to get the Salubri pogrom to the extent that they did, and actually the Salubri helped form the Sabbat with the La Sombra, and has actually led to a more organized Sabbat than what the actual modern arts have. And like little things like that, and there's stuff under Setites, and there's a few other things on, what if history was different. So Chris, I think you guys could do something similar if you had the Tremere as the big bad guys, and you're like, well, hey guys, you want an opportunity to stop the Tremere from becoming this all-powerful pricks in the future? Yeah. Here's your chance.
And to be honest, going off of that and the whole Tremere thing, one of the last Dark Ages games that I did attend was the one that we did at Lynn Valley, and it was there was this whole scene where we had I don't quite remember what he was, big bad Tremere dude, and I think there's one Tremere in the Dark Ages game, Mark's character, and that whole interaction right there, setting up for something that would be definitely something that could be used as a plot point kind of deal, that having Tremere be the big baddies would definitely be an interesting spin on things, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that would actually throw it up in the air on whether or not they could actually stand against, multiple clans trying to take them out. Other than when they in the regular timeline, they actually, the Camarilla is what save them from being annihilated because they did have backup. But the pyramid itself actually is quite strong and could hold it against 1, 2, 3 clans. But if you turn the entire Sabbat on them, that would be a problem.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely like there's a lot you could do in terms of having different antagonistic what's the word I'm looking for? Antagonists, I guess. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah,
Hold on. Y'all keep going. I gotta deal with Eric here for a second.
All right.
Yeah, you go deal with Eric.
You deal with him. Spank him hard.
He's trying. He really is. He's still. He's not popping up for me. How about you?
I see. It looks like he was there for a moment, but he's still showing his offline on my end.
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah.
All right.
But it looked like he was almost
give him
there.
a minute.
I don't have him on Skype, but yeah, he's totally doing those things. I don't like feeling left out, okay? Anyway? Jeez.
Yes, and New Wave. Yeah, I agree. I like that idea of the Salubri not getting wiped out. Another idea is like, so what if instead of Zealot, what if the Diablerized somebody else? Like I was like, all the trouble and research they had to do to find out where Zealot was. Why didn't they just go to Carthage where Troil is and Diablerize the Bruja antediluvian?
It's like a third-hand Diablery then.
But it makes for a good story.
And they have his Bali boyfriend Methuselah right beside him. So I mean, they got like a twofer right there. So
Yeah.
right?
2 for 1 special. Devour one, get one free.
Why aren't the Ravnos a player character clan anymore?
No, just in the Dark Ages campaign.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, never mind.
Chemistry is a bitch to run in a LARP
It
scenario.
is, isn't it?
If it's mishandled.
So instead of just letting it run rampant with somebody I don't know or trust as well, it's another one of them things where your game will start to break down, and before you know it, you're just going, oh, crap. We have to rewind everything and figure out what just happened.
Yeah. And there's already been a case of we have to rewind and figure out what just happened. And that was interesting. I'll say that. And like I was saying though before, Chris, like you and Shane have a very episodic sort of. It is a elaborate theater production kind of story. So there's definitely.
Now we need Eric here for this conversation.
Well, if he would stop being silly, we would. But you know,
he's trying. He truly is. We're working on it. But yeah, you want to talk about this? This brother knows the whole drama thing. That's what he does. He's one of the few people I know and I've known in my entire life who actually can make a living as an actor.
I act every day. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't make a living at it. You don't get paid.
I could, all right. Stop crushing my dreams, jeez.
No, I'm not saying you couldn't. I'm just saying you're not right now. Anyway.
Right. I'm keeping my day job working at an electronics store until I feel the need to burst out into the spotlight.
There you go.
Yep.
I'm not sure what's going on with him, but we're going to keep trying. We are 1 hour 24 into this.
What you need to do is you need to retitle this episode from Grand Masquerade Pity Party to Eric Pity Party.
Yeah.
Well, we miss Eric because we haven't seen him in so long.
Yeah, we haven't seen Eric in a while. He's had some life changes recently. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Is he LFG now or what? Like
he's
It's still not showing online. It's still not showing online. So.
Okay, he's asking me. I guess he may have had to do another
reboot,
another account.
Skype. I'm shaking my fist. You guys can't see it, but I'm shaking my fist at Skype. My tiny little intimidating fist.
All right, we're gonna search Skype again.
So do you find a major difference between between player mindset, playing a LARP versus playing tabletop?
Yeah.
Well, what differences do you notice?
Well, I find like at least the few like, and I guess this really applies. I mean, I've been in a few VTM tabletops and I've been in regular like D&D tabletops, but there's definitely when you're in a LARP setting, you definitely have to be in the mindset of that particular moment. I mean, there's people that are plotting every 5 milliseconds. So you definitely, I find that, yeah, well, no, seriously, like I kind of feel like you honestly have to be more prepared for anything at any given moment, because anybody can throw a wrench into anything. Whereas tabletop, at least the games that I have been in, I find that it's a little bit more set out ahead of time. In terms of, yes, you control what your characters do, but ultimately you wind up at a certain point. With LARP, I've noticed that it just tends to, I mean, the storytellers can have one thing in mind, and at the end of the night, it's like, well, that went out the window. I mean, it's very dependent, especially since LARPs tend to be bigger groups, sometimes anyway. It's very dependent on what the players do. Whereas I think that tabletop mindsets are more geared towards what the storyteller, the dungeon master, the game master ultimately wants it to be. They kind of keep it tailored to that. So I don't know. I just find that when I'm in a LARP setting, I'm definitely more on my toes and thinking in the moment than I would be in a tabletop type game. Because I guess in tabletop, really the only time I'm on my toes is when my character's in combat. Other than that, I'm kind of like, yeah, let's just, walk for 5 hours. So it depends.
Do you find that the mindset of the players in tabletop is more cooperative versus when you come to a LARP? Yes. It seems to be more confrontation and
yes.
I would say that's probably the only real distinction that I've noticed.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because in tabletop, it's a us against the storyteller mindset.
Yes, it's a party.
And in no matter how you run your tabletop or how you try to run your venue, it ends up being an us against the storyteller mindset, because there's a lot more NPC interactions, and you can't do that with a LARP. So
you can.
It's really difficult with you've got 30 players and one or maybe 2 STs. How many costume changes do we expect them to do for NPCs?
Well,
right,
Chris, they come with pickle trunks. I mean, like.
So I think that in itself kind of gears people more towards confrontation in a confrontational mindset in LARP, because now it's me against everybody else instead of us against the ST. I think a lot of, and I'm not saying everybody comes at it from that angle, but I think that seems to either be how things come across for some people, or that might be the people that are prone to do that seem drawn to LARP because they can do that. I don't know. But it does seem to be more prevalent in LARP than in tabletop.
I actually have, and I have since I've started playing, and again, this is one of those things that I'm working on as a new player. But it's very difficult on game day, like on LARP day, for me to get into that PvP mindset. It's an experience all on its own to be like, all right, I got to get in a character now. What would Anara do? Kind of like get into that head of being prepared. And being ready for, this person might turn against me tonight. Fun. Whereas, like you said, like on a tabletop setting, it really is like party versus whatever the storyteller, the DM, GM throws at you. And you kind of, for the game to work, you kind of have to work with that quote unquote party. Whereas in LARP, it's anybody can go any direction at any time. So.
Well, plus around a tabletop, it's difficult for you to work
branch off. Yeah.
To work against your party. Like you
sure.
slip a note to the storyteller because of something that you want to do, and
everybody
looks at you, and the next time something bad happens to one of
Ta-da!
them, you automatically assume it was
point
you.
fingers at you. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So-
I've actually had that happen. So it's
You guys actually
So
hear
in
me?
that
Yes, we
in
can
that
hear you, Eric.
respects,
We finally got him. Yay,
in
team.
that respects, I actually think LARP works very well with Vampire because there needs to be that level of paranoia on whether or not
I wanna go back to
somebody
the
is
whole,
working against you.
for sure.
I
Like,
like
But yes,
talking
Eric's
about
here.
Bali
Eric's
and all
here.
that crap
Let's
you
let
guys
him
are talking. Like a lot
Yeah.
of it. Like I was in the chat while you guys were talking about the Bali and trying to get this to work, and I was like shaking my hand and my fist in the air.
He's like, I gotta say something about this.
All right, I ran a
the
Sabbat
Lexie-
game for 5 years, a Sabbat LARP every single week, and it was really cool. But one of the things I used a lot was a Bali, and the thing is that I had a player that used to play some of my NPCs for me, and I just handed him the character sheet and told him kind of what to do, and they just the players completely accepted him as he was a La Sombra. He just played the whole thing off the whole time, just tapping each one of their souls, basically.
Wolf and
So by the time he left, he basically had a contract with everybody.
Gee, that
So-
sounds familiar.
Eric, did you get the post for the schedule for the Grand Masquerade?
No,
You
I've
didn't?
been ignoring it on purpose.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I get
It's a
depressed,
pity
man. Every time I
party.
look at this schedule, I get depressed. I'm like,
Dude, I mean, seriously.
4K to
I mean,
drop.
between my hand exploding and all the other stuff that's
How's
gone
your hand
on.
doing, by the way?
Oh, it's almost completely healed, honestly.
Awesome.
I've
Wait,
got a couple
your hand
fingers and
exploded?
I can use it and stuff. And I'm directing, so I just got done with that for tonight.
He did something stupid.
Ooh, I want to know.
Oh, it was his batteries. Yeah.
Oh,
Put a
never
couple
mind. I don't
batteries
wanna
in
know.
something in the battery. Yeah, it's bad.
Ow.
Boom.
Yeah,
Owie.
it was bad.
As long as you didn't lose any fingers, you're okay.
Nope. I can still drum and play guitar or whatever, so
Yeah,
I'm good.
if you actually could play before.
I can play drums. I can't play guitar.
Okay, now that we've got you here, I want to throw this question out, and I want to hear from the audience too. If you have the album or have had the album, the music from the Succubus Club, what's your favorite song on the album?
Now the Crux Shadows.
The Deception.
Yep.
I literally ran into Rogue back at GothCon in 2000. That brother is tall. He's 6'6" if he's an inch.
Yeah.
And I was LARPing, and I had to run back to the room, and I was looking up a rules thing, and hitting him was like a wall. And I looked up, and there's just all this black. And I'm like, who the fuck? And I look up, dude, you know how dude's hair is, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay. And I had no idea who the Crux Shadows were at the time. No clue, because I hadn't bought the album yet. So that's my Rogue story. But
Cool.
Jacob?
I would probably say the Crux Shadows song. Don't fire me, but I didn't think the album was that great.
No,
So-
some of the
Oh
songs
no!
really
Some of
do
them
suck.
were. Some of those songs were horrid.
They were.
Yeah.
They were bad. And I have
There
an
were some really
issue-
good ones, and then some just really bad ones.
I have issue with the particular because they were associating each song with one of the clans, and some of the songs just didn't go with that particular clan. Oddly enough, the Tremere song did.
Didn't the Thompsons twins do that one?
No, that's a Diary of Dreams.
Thompson twins.
Yeah, Blind in Darkness is the name of the song, and it's there are only about 4 off of the entire album that are worth listening to: Deception, Soul to Bleed, Fall No More, and Blind in Darkness. Fall No More with Bella Morte, that's my favorite song on the album. just so you know.
Hey, that used to be my screen name.
And of course, Sabrina. I hooked Sabrina up. Yeah, I hooked her up with. I threw her my theme song, which is Winterborn, which is one. I really did. I kind of fell in love with that band after that album. But Lexie, do you have a preference?
I honestly have never heard of them.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, my you poor soul. Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna have to go to YouTube, find the video for Deception, and send that to you because it's so vampire. Oh my god,
it's really cool.
It is. It really.
Well,
is.
that band is just really cool. Period.
The whole band, yeah. I mean, they've gone through how many violinists at this point?
No, wait. There's violin.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in.
Homegirl.
There's check out these guys. They're called Two Cellos. Just all one thing for two cellos. Those guys are awesome.
I know those guys.
What was it? Thunderstruck.
Yes.
That they did.
I have seen that one. The video for that one is.
They've actually got a whole bunch of them, and they're all extremely crazy good.
They did a Star Wars thing, didn't they?
I don't know. I haven't checked their site in a little while.
They do a Star Wars thing? Because if they did, I think they're the people I'm thinking of. But yeah, I have a very eclectic taste in music, so whatever you want to shoot my way, go ahead.
Oh, then I will more than happy to throw shit.
You've already done it once, so go ahead.
I
start spamming her with Sisters of Mercy.
I got into this whole broadcasting thing by being a DJ. I was a DJ at the college station when I was in school, and then I did 2 stints as an online DJ for 2 of the games I used to play.
Yeah, I just play piano, so.
Well, see, you're actually a musician.
I'm a drummer. I beat things with sticks, man. That's my deal.
So do I.
I don't want to work.
Really?
I just want to bang on the drum all day.
Well, that's literally my.
I heard that whole thing about Eric acting for a living stuff.
Did you? Good.
Oh, good.
Because I'm very proud of that fact that I actually do know an actor.
I grew up in LA. It's hard to not know.
Yeah, but that's different. Those people are
I did too, but I grew up in the not so nice part of LA in the 80s.
Oh.
So, Lexie, I guess you like some Lindsey Sterling.
I love me some Lindsey Sterling.
We were using one of her songs for the first few episodes. We used part of Crystallize as our theme song.
Yeah, I actually went to her concert for my birthday, and it was it was a birthday present to me from one of my friends. Like, she paid for the tickets and everything,
awesome.
And it was so amazing. Like, I love music. Like, to me, music is a very expressive thing. So to see her live and to feel that energy was just incredible.
Have you seen any of the stuff she's done with Pentatonics?
Yes.
Like they did the cover of Radioactive, which is actually better than Imagine Dragons.
Yes. A lot of her covers are really good. Right now I'm kind of stuck on stuff from her new album, which I got the day it came out. But
of course.
Yeah.
You're like I am with Rush.
Oh yeah, I was raised on a variety of music, and bringing this back to VTM, music. How do you guys feel music plays into LARPs or tabletop
Music
games?
should be required as background for every game, tabletop and LARP. Yes. I cannot stress that enough.
Oh man,
I agree.
It sets mood.
Agree.
It's really weird if I don't use music.
Yeah, I tried.
Michael actually has. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I was on the university, I couldn't play music all the time. I could only have it to a couple of different rooms, but I would have different songs in those rooms, so it would always be at least a little interesting.
Yeah, my husband, he runs 2 tabletop games a week, right? And he actually, spends the time picking out music to go with those games. And I mean, he has setups and he does like all sorts of terrain pieces and stuff. But like the music, I find when I'm playing a game really helps you dive into it. It really helps you.
It does. It sets the mood. And if you get into a combat situation, especially if somebody's got a tablet or a laptop, that they can switch the music up as needed.
You know what happens at my husband's table when there's combat? Somebody has the nerve to pull out like the Final Fantasy VII battle theme and
whatever.
I put on the Terminator theme, honestly.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I'm actually fond of "Struck by Lightning," which is the song that's playing in the final battle in Blade, the first Blade movie.
Yeah.
I just watched that the other night.
That when he's fighting Deacon Frost, that's the "Struck by Lightning" is the name of the song, and it's awesome for combat.
And there are a lot of, like you're talking about movies, and there are a lot of soundtracks out there that are really good, especially like I find for some of the darker stuff. I can't remember who it was, but like for our Call of Cthulhu games, we actually use, I think it's like the Midnight Set, or like, I don't know who it is, but they have a like Call of Cthulhu themed soundtrack.
Specifically the Midnight. I've got some of those. Like
you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, like I have one for Call of Cthulhu, and I have two for Vampire.
Yes,
and
yes,
one
they do
for
have
Werewolf.
They literally build playlists, and well, not playlists, but they actually it's a legit like soundtrack that they have for Midnight Syndicate. That's who it is.
That's it. Yes, exactly. Awesome.
Midnight Syndicate, and you put this music on in the background, and it literally sets the theme for your whole game, and you can just leave it on the entire time because it just flows that perfectly.
You can also borrow Fantasy or Flying Frog Games makes a couple of different games. One's called Touch of Evil. The other one's called Last Night on Earth. They're both board games, but they each have their own soundtracks that come with the game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Basically, Last Night on Earth is like the stereotypical like movie zombie game. I mean, it's like they use real actors and stuff or models for their pictures of their like characters and stuff.
Oh, sweet.
So like it's I mean, there's literally a card that you can play called Last Night on Earth where there's a male and female in the same square. They spend a turn doing whatever they need to do. So you actually have a guy playing players playing the zombies and the heroes at the same time. And then the other one is basically it's like a New England town where you're hunting down the monster. But both of those have really like cool soundtracks that would also work really well with a World of Darkness game.
Yeah, I think that's one of our big things, at least that I find in terms of like the VTM games, the LARPs. Music is dependent on setting. What I mean by that is in the Modern Knights game, for example, there have been a lot of times where court has taken place at my domain, which is literally a construction concrete plant. So there wouldn't really be a lot of music, but I've literally debated just,
there's some industrial you could use for that.
Well, yeah, I guess, I mean, you could, but my character probably wouldn't have music playing.
Well, no, again, it's mostly for mood.
Yes,
it's not
it's
necessarily
an out of character
for
thing.
So, but yeah, that music. I think we brought it up at one point earlier on in the shows. We were talking about using music, and there's a company that does candles, scented candles, things like wood fire, sewer.
Ooh,
yeah, so that you can really immerse people.
Do they have a book-scented one?
Yes.
Because my character loves books, and like she has books everywhere, so that would probably be very appropriate.
they had hundreds of candles, and all
the
these
only problem with
smells.
Candles is trying to get it out of carpet.
Yeah.
From your bed wall. Trust me.
I thought we'd lost you there for a minute, Chris.
No, just listening.
Okay.
Just hanging out.
the most opportunistic moment too.
So I started a new LARP around here and an experiment.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I started playing in a local LARP here that's part of a network, and I've made pretty much, I think, the most obnoxious character they've ever had.
Which
is
that's
fun.
always fun.
Yeah, I've made a Bruja who was embraced during the '70s punk era, and he's from Britain.
So he's got all the
right
safety pins.
He's proper naughty. He doesn't take anything from anybody. And that guy right there is Prince. If you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. You get the fuck out. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, him.
I'm that guy.
He made a McVitie.
Right. Piss off, you wanker.
I actually knew one of those guys. His name was Trevor. He had the mohawk. He had all the safety pins. And he had this leather jacket that he had started attaching doll parts to.
You should see my pin vest. Have you seen my pin vest, Peter?
Maybe.
Pictures. I went to a thrift shop when I first made Anara. And I picked out, because I don't normally dress like that. But I picked out, it's kind of like this synthetic leather, and it's like a vest, but it's got this wool lining. And the way it zips up, it has like this collar that's very big and it sticks out. It was very plain. So I started collecting buttons, and they're very character specific. They're all very rude and very mean. And Jacob actually added to that. He gave me one.
Things like friends help each other. Real friends help bury the bodies.
My favorite one right now actually says, "If I were a bird, I know who I'd shit on." But yeah, Jacob gave me one that says "cute but kind of evil," and it's like Happy Bunny, and it's
God, no.
Yeah, it's. I've got like so many pins, like practice safe sex, go fuck yourself. But it really adds to my character because she's that kind of Bruja. She's that kind of, I'm a loudmouth, in your face, shut up kind
Tiny
of person.
punch monkey, I believe the term.
Yes, tiny punch monkey.
Funny thing is that, you know what? This character I have actually only has presence.
Really?
That's sweet.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I can't back anything up I say.
But you can make
people
it
don't
sound
listen
like
to me.
you can.
Exactly. It's like I put all my points into that, and I'm like, I'm that guy.
Nice.
And then I run or hide behind a bigger guy.
By the way, you missed part of this, Eric. I'm going to a Halloween party. It's sort of a Halloween birthday bash for a couple of my friends, and I'm going as Charon.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Jacob's going to post the list to the Tempus page because I don't want any of the people that are going to the party to know about this until it's too late. Because that's what everybody's doing. Nobody's telling anybody about what they're wearing. They're just saying, "Oh yeah, man, I was over at Amazon today and I'm looking for really cool shit," but they don't. That's as far as they go.
I'm wearing my PJs for Halloween. I care not.
You could dress.
You know what? I think I'm going to wear a trench coat and some tidy whities, and that's it.
No.
But I'm never going to open the trench coat. I'll probably put a sign on there, a really big, like black, one of those big black bars.
Oh,
yes, yes,
Yes.
that's awesome.
One of my Facebook friends had a costume like that one year where she just wore a skirt and then had a censored bar across her chest, and wore a strapless bra that was just small enough to fit behind the censored sign, so you couldn't tell.
So you could be legal.
I have access to flesh-colored tights.
Oh, there you go.
Which would make, like I said, which would make that just so perfect because everybody would be thinking, because I can pull them up. So you can see my legs. So yeah, that is
there
what I will
was
do this year.
what do you call them? The people who do the it's I forget what it's called. Performance art. That's what it was. Who were wearing the flesh color tights at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival last week? They were just creepy, just weird, just complete. It's just like you should be able to see something, but you can't. And it's and they're just doing their whole performance art thing, and it's just so weird.
I almost had tights when I did that Moliere play.
Oh.
Yeah, I did a Tartuffe, and I was this big angry French guy with makeup and everything.
That sounds awesome.
But but I didn't have to wear tights because of the pants that I actually had. So it was really cool. But yeah, that was the closest I ever came to wearing tights. Besides what I'm going to do this Halloween.
Add it.
So,
off your bucket list. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Everything's good. So, Eric, we didn't get to ask you when because you weren't here, but have you? That's right. You said you haven't looked at the schedule because it's just,
no. I've been avoiding it on purpose because it just makes you. I just want to cry. I'm just like,
I want to
go. I want to go, but I've got things to
but
do.
Who's got an extra 4K to drop on that weekend, you know? I really do. But would you do the Succubus Club?
Oh, they're doing that?
Yeah. Runs from midnight till dawn.
Dude,
on
they
the
haven't
last
done that
day.
in a while. Yeah, definitely, man. I would be all over that.
I'd be looking. That's what I would go for. Everything else is just gravy.
Honestly, that's why you go.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because
that's just the most fun out of the entire thing.
I'll be honest. You could hook up pretty easy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Trust me, sweetheart. It happens.
That was a long.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not. I know.
It happens. It truly does.
I was young once upon a time. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so was I. Oh my god.
Right? Jesus. I think I'm the oldest person in the channel, aren't I?
I assume so.
Yeah, probably.
I'm probably the youngest, so yeah.
Yes, you are the baby.
Thanks.
Okay. That's what irritates the hell out of me is children going,
I don't know. I'm in my
I've been
40s,
doing this all my life. Yeah, what, 5 years?
I never said that.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. Next year, we need to just pool our resources and road trip.
That sounds like a plan. We can probably do a show from there, too.
That's what I want to do
this year.
We've got a goal. Let's do it. Let's do some crowdfunding for that.
Ask Jake. That's what I wanted to do was a live feed.
We can do that.
Oh, my God, that would be the awesome sauce, yo.
I can do that from my tablet.
Uh-huh.
That'd be awesome.
Uh-huh.
Can you guys like Skype me in and like?
No, that was what we'd be doing. Is just we'd be broadcasting live on the channel here, and I could probably borrow one of the cameras from what do you call them? The little tiny ones, the good ones.
GoPros?
Huh?
GoPro?
No, the camera. It's GoPro.
That's what I said.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. See, no, that's not what I'm talking about. So,
he's going to listen to this later, so I can't say that.
Here's something I'd like to do if everybody is agreeable. How late can you stay up?
What, tonight?
Yeah, say an extra half hour.
Oh, totally, man.
Okay.
Dude, I'm up for a bit.
Because we didn't get you until late, and there are a few other things I'd like to cover before we get done. Are you good, Lexie? Okay,
I
you're
can totally
not
stay up. I can do it.
Okay, you were breaking up.
Yeah.
How about you, Jake? And Chris? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
I'm all good.
Because Jake's actually gonna have to stay up a little later than that because we've got a planning meeting after the show because we have no topics for the next 4 shows and we got to come up with something.
Oh, hit me up for that.
Actually, I want to do a mummy show, yo. I really do.
Oh, cool.
Do you want in on the mummy show?
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah, dude. That game. Oh man.
I know.
And if we ever do Demon, that one too.
Demon's on the list. Like I said,
because I can go on and on about Demon.
See, that's what we need to be able to do is cover 2 hours. And
I can.
With both of those.
Sorry, go ahead.
Both of those systems, I think we can stretch to 2 hours, no problem. Well, here's my question, Sabrina. I'm talking to you in the channel. have you learned anything about the system now that you've been watching and listening? That's what I want to know. All right, she's going to take her a few minutes to hear that, so let's go on. I'm just curious as to who this Guru Nation folks are, to be honest.
What?
They're doing something at the Grand Masquerade on Saturday, Friday, and no, wait, hold on, I'm pulling up there it is.
Aren't they an offshoot of one of the networks that broke up?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
One of the two
happens.
Networks.
Whenever
But I don't know if they're copyrighted or not.
Does anybody know anything about these guys?
Mm-mm.
All right, because I'm curious. I really am. I'm learning more about Werewolf since we've been doing this show, and I'm becoming a bit more, I guess, tolerant.
Wow.
You put up with me and like when I start talking about the New World of Darkness, so I mean, don't worry about it.
What the
You're
fuck?
tolerant as heck.
Hold on. What the fuck? History of on Sunday. History of White Wolf 2 to 3. You're going to cover the history of White Wolf in an hour.
Yeah, it's pretty easy actually.
No, it ain't.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of shit to go through, dude. It really is, man. Oh.
We started playing in high school. We made it into a company. Yeah. Then we sold it a couple of times.
Shit hit the fan. And we sold it to a company that did absolutely nothing with the system at all other than release. No, White Wolf actually released the COD stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
Before they sold it off to CCP?
Yeah.
Okay. Because CCP did nothing. There was a little bit of development on the MMO, and that's it. So I'm curious as to how much did it cost them to get the rights back? Knowing that CCP makes more money than God. Okay, because that Eve is seriously that's a license to print money.
But it's their only source of money.
Yeah, but it's a silly amount.
Everything else they've tried to do kind of crashes and burns on them. So.
Because they don't have the staff, I guess, for anything else. I mean, they've dumped all of their offices. How many of them now? 4? There's Reykjavik, Atlanta, L.A., Hong Kong. Okay, and that's all Eve. All 4 of those offices do Eve. That's it. And like I said, it's a silly amount of money they're making. I mean, really silly. So why didn't they do anything better other than staffing? That's the only thing.
Have you not read the article where they explained exactly why the MMO they were trying to make failed? Well, no, because it came down to a lot of miscommunication and mismanagement of funds, and the fact that Eve is such a juggernaut, it kept sucking all the best talent from every other project back into Eve. So they would have basically a revolving door on every other project. So it was like every 2 months there'd be a totally different team working on the White Wolf MMO. And so you can't have any kind of consistency or success in that environment.
Again, too many cooks in the kitchen. Just it wouldn't work.
Well, not just that. It's more not not enough cooks, and you keep switching them. So of course, the menu keeps changing, and that shit doesn't work.
It just doesn't work when you try and do it that way. Like with any game or anything really. I mean, it just doesn't. When you keep switching it up and you don't have a constant, it does tend to get very kerfuffled. So it's Yes, I use that word.
Jake, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
are you here?
You messaged me and said on your
you
way
saying
back.
stuff?
Way back.
Yeah, I said I was on my way back when I was on my way back, and now
that was
I'm
like
back.
5 minutes ago, dude.
Oh my god. Anyway, did Sabrina actually? See, all right. I was kind of curious. Oh, sweetie, you can LARP. Trust me. Everybody can LARP.
Dude, see, like I said in chat a few episodes ago, best thing I ever did though was just jumping into it. Learn as you go, that kind of thing.
Yes,
she lives in
probably the easiest way to
Wisconsin,
do it.
and I suspect there's probably, because that's where Jessica's from, I believe. So I'm pretty sure there's a fairly active LARP community somewhere nearby for her.
And it was very intimidating at first, especially because there's like lots of people that know more than you, and you're sitting there going like, I'm still learning like what every status does and this, that, and the other thing. But literally, just jump in, because it's the best way to get involved is to get involved.
Yes.
Ask questions as you go, as they come up, kind of deal. And don't be afraid to ask questions either, is the biggest thing I've learned.
There's nothing a storyteller likes more than a player that asks questions. And I mean, I've even, like, as an ST, will take a new player under my wing. And have them play against. I'll say, here, make your character. I'll make an NPC to match, and I'll show you how to do this.
Chris actually, when I first started, Chris was playing the leader of my clan, and that in itself, like, yes, and having him being an experienced LARPer, like a very experienced LARPer, and having him as a bouncing off person for my character was actually very helpful for me to start developing her as a character, because he'd do these things and he'd get the clan involved and he'd have us do these things with him, and that was a really good way for me to learn, was to kind of course my character and his character butted heads sometimes, but that's
the way it's supposed to work.
Exactly. So it was a very good way to do it too. Like when you say, like, STs and taking people, like, he wasn't STing at the time, but he is very experienced. So having a very experienced player on your side, so to speak, like in your clan, someone you interact with on a regular basis, is definitely a very good way to do it.
Yeah, that's what I used to do a lot of with like a lot of my experienced players. And I mean, I've actually had things growing up, so I had to have like assistants. Yeah. And doing different things. So, so my more experienced players would be most of the time the primogen of the clan, or in some position where they would be interacting with the players more than I would, and then I'd jump around doing different things, for different characters or whatever needed to be done. I was the guy with the trunk full of costumes and stuff. And
exactly.
You're that guy.
Yeah.
My character's sheriff, right? And like, this is my first LARP. I don't really know what a sheriff does entirely, but I'm bullshitting it the best I can.
You maintain order in the Elysium. And
in the city, really.
Well, I was made keeper of Elysium upon walking in and running my mouth.
Oh, fun.
I know. I'm like, really? You really want? Okay. All right.
All right. Suit yourselves.
See, but you can talk all the shit you want in Elysium because nobody can do anything about it.
Exactly.
I get by on standing there looking ominous. I love it. I use very little of actual speaking.
I'm actually like really surprised that my character's still alive, to tell you the truth. I didn't, like, when I made Inara, my whole goal with her was to have her last from her 49th year to her 50th, and she has. And I'm really surprised that that's happened, because sometimes, let me tell you, the way she does things, or the things she does or says, very surprising she's not dead.
It also comes down to some character choice as a player, being willing to make choices where you actually have a chance of losing.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing with newer players, and it's something you can't tell them to do either. You can drop points, but with the newer players, they get in a competitive mode, and they want to win, and they want to win, and they want to win.
There's no winning.
There's no winning. Well, I mean...
Go ahead, Chris.
But they get with the newer mindset. They don't understand the mechanics and the details of the game, and they think they're competitive and they want to win. But after you've played for a couple of years and you understand that, hey, if I lose this time, whatever falls out of this creates a huger drama for everybody else. And in the way, that's where I win, by creating all the conflict and drama that everybody else just had.
You wake up one night and you're in
character killed. If it's going to be like really cool, like if I run my mouth to the wrong person and I just die, it makes that mindset almost completely go away, and then I just walk over and start filling out some more dots and come back as something completely different.
Well, see, and like for me, like when an art goes, I want her to go in a completely epic fashion. I really do, and I don't think
have to.
Well, the thing is it's not like I'm like, yeah, it's my first character and I've had her for a year, but I've kind of gotten where I wanted her to be. I mean, I certainly as fuck do not want to be Prince.
No.
So,
no.
I watch my husband. The thing is like I watch my husband do the Prince thing, and I'm like, you know what? No. So, well, I mean,
there's no rule against setting up a story yourself to kill your character off.
Yeah, and that's
the most dramatic and fun way possible for everybody.
I did that with a 5-year-old character before, where I did. That's just what I did when I left Austin. When I left and moved, I killed my character I played for 5 years in a huge epic fashion.
Like I want it to be super memorable.
Yeah, and like I said, and it kept the game going for a lot of years after that too. So I mean, it's like those moments that you can create with your character, or even as a storyteller with anything else. The more like, the more you like take weird chances and actually die, like the more fun it is for everybody else. You know, it really is.
I mean, I've had an art do stupid things just to make a story. I mean, it's like me, I'm literally going there, like my character would not do this, but you know what? It's going to add something to the story. It's going to add I'm in it for the theater aspect. I am in it for the story. Like I recently dropped out of a Dark Ages game, Chris's Dark Ages game. And, you know, I still some days am like, hey, I want to go just to observe, because I love the theater aspect of it. I love watching the story unfold. You know what I mean? So if, as a character, if I can do something to progress that, I'm all for it.
If you want to talk about going out in an epic fashion, a friend of mine, his character had a blood hunt called on him, and he pulled a whistler. That's what it's called now, actually, for at least amongst the folks I know. Is he rolled up into the Elysium and said, "Catch you fuckers at a bad time," and set off a thermite explosion.
Oh.
Cage tried that. It didn't work out so well.
That was hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Because apparently we have some really old Brujah bloodlines in the Elysium, and the grenade just paused. In midair before it exploded.
Jesus.
So it didn't quite go as he expected.
No. Middle of a practice ball too. So that was really interesting.
One of the Primogens was a Brujah, but the Prince was a Toreador. And so nobody survived it. Nobody. They were very upset with him after that too. And I'm like, I think I like that. I like how, so from now on that's going to be called pulling a whistler.
Yeah. Like I like the creative deaths. I really do. Like the more creative, because there's been a lot of character deaths in our game, in the Modern Knights game. And the really creative ones are like the best ones, I think, because you can build off of a character's death if they do it, and if they die in such a fashion, you can literally carry it on in game as a story point. And
look at how much Bunny's death has contributed to all the chaos in the last little while.
Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that one. But yeah, there's definitely a lot that can be done with characters meeting their final death to add to a plot. And again, it does depend on which direction. Yeah,
So,
and it depends on how the storyteller wants to take it and add it into the plot. But again, it also depends on how the players deal with it in game. That kind of helps fuel that fire of adding to the story.
So I'm going to tell you guys about my experiment.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so I have some actors locally that are interested in LARPing.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And they want to improve their improvisational skills.
Because way to do it.
A lot of us keep getting asked to do things like we did this like Downton Abbey thing where we had to act as one of the characters from the show while people mingled around. So you had to mingle with people in character. So now they want to learn how to do that. So I said, hey, there's this thing that you can do. And so I'm working with another guy of mixing a couple different rules together so that they can understand and just basically just have this like between the improv group and the actors, it should be very interesting. Plus we have an online aspect too. So
yeah, and LARP really is, at having a theater background myself, LARP really is, when it comes down to it, an improvisational theater production.
You bet your ass.
It really is. I mean, you pull things out of your butt at random with LARPs.
And if you're storytelling one, you do have to. I mean, if you really want to make it good for your players, you've got to like be able to, pull
switch
a character
gears.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You have I'm Miss Malkavian this instant, and then the next one I'm a Slick Ventru.
Yeah.
Bouncing back and forth between that different stuff is so much
fun. What the hell is a Jan Pecker Zoo?
Jan Pecker Zoo?
Sorry. Every time somebody mentions Ventru, that's what I think of. That's the phrase that pops into my head.
Anytime somebody mentions Ventru, I think Wolfgang, but that's a completely different story, and Lexie, I really don't want to.
Did you read any of the Clan War?
No.
You should.
No. Right now, I'm actually reading through. I'm actually still working on like the main book. I pretty much, when I made my character, all I read was my clan information and a little bit of how the mechanics of the game worked. So, and mind you, I'm kind of low on free time these days due to the new job and the kid going back to school and so on. But
I don't know. Maybe they have.
Read the clan book first.
Yes. I'm actually...
Yes.
Honestly, I'm reading the Malkavian clan book because, I don't know, Malkavians, man. They just...
Oh, the new... the revised one is great.
I just kind of... I just feel like Malkavians are really... Like, I tried playing Malkavian, it didn't go how I envisioned it, but that's...
They're hard to play. They really are.
What I used to do...
You're going to be a fish mouth. They're
what
really
I used to
hard
do...
to play.
Is actually, I used to carry a copy of the DSM-4 with me, which is the Diagnostic Statistic Manual of Mental Illness. And what I would do is when someone's like, I'm going to give you a derangement, I'm like, okay, hold on, let me flip a page.
Yeah, like, let me just pick something.
Point to one. And I'm like, okay, this is your derangement. This is how, these are the symptoms of what you have. Now act that out.
It's physically exhausting, though. I mean, like when I like, I'm not even kidding. When I played Lyra in the Dark Ages game that I was in, I was so exhausted after game and before game because of the preparation for it. Because initially, when I had made Lyra, she was supposed to be this very dark, brooding, silent, high, uppity sort of person. And for some unbeknownst reason to me, the very first Dark Ages game, I started acting like this hyperactive child. And I hated it. And I was like, this is not what I had in mind. And so I kept that for a while. And I would come home from game and I would have to sleep for like 3 days just to like recover from it, because there was one point in afters we went to, because our group goes to like afters, we go to a restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there was literally one game where I just laid my head on the table and like tried really hard not to pass out because I was just so done. Done.
It's like a literally, even though there's a really big section on like phobias in the DSM-4, in the manual, it's on its 5th edition now, but regardless, The thing about that is that when it lists the symptoms, it actually gives you clues on how to act that out.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you act like this, and this is how this works.
Yep.
And then people just are able to run with it really well. Like, I mean, besides phobias, if you just get like, okay, here, you have antisocial personality disorder. Here are the symptoms. Act that out.
Yeah, which, I mean, it definitely, and, again, I am a bit bipolar. So playing a Malk that's not bipolar and then fitting my bipolar into that is so exhausting.
Okay, Lexie. They compiled all 13 of the Clan novels into 4 books, big ass books.
Oh, I bet.
The first one is The Fall of Atlanta.
Okay.
If you want insight into every single clan, I mean, even if I've got both versions. I have all 13 of the Clan novels, and I have the 4 big books. The Malkavian book is written in Malkavian.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, it is like being inside Anatol's head.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I could do that.
Because, there's some really weird shit going on with that brother. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I believe it, for sure.
But it gives you a lot of insight into each one of the clans. And all of the pictures from the Vampire the Masquerade, the second edition, the pictures of when you go to the clans, all of the characters that those pictures, like Anatol and what's her name, Sasha Vikos, Jan Petersohn.
Sasha's a guy.
No, it's both. Apparently.
It's an it.
Yeah, it's an it.
It's whatever it wants to be.
It's whatever it wants to be. Because
like New Wave actually just mentioned in chat there not playing a fish milk.
No, don't ever.
Or a crayon eater. Or
it's really hard for and maybe it's just because I'm a new player, I don't know, but like I try really hard to make my characters not typical. Like I have had a lot of comments that are like, Anara is not your typical Bruja. It's like, thank you, that's a compliment. She's not supposed to be. She has the whole anger thing, but she's also like, there's so much more to her. Like, they're scholarly. Like she has books upon books upon books.
That's the old Bruja, where
still,
philosophers and
she carries that over, though, is the thing. Like she's kind of like a ticking time bomb, but she's not at the same time. Like I try really hard to make my characters individual, and I found that playing my Malkavian, it was super hard not to slip into that I'm a typical Malk. Like really, really hard, because Malks I find in VTM are at least to my from what I've learned, they're very easily stereotyped.
Oh yeah.
So it's really, really hard.
There are some storytellers who won't let you play one.
Yeah, well, and for good reason. Like I could totally understand why.
I mean, but there are also storytellers that won't let you play a Tremere either. But that was under the old rules, apparently.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
It's OP, yo.
I've just run way too many Sabbat games, so I've actually had to think on the other side of the fence as Malkavians. And
I know, right? Like
that's a completely different story altogether. I have this extreme urge to stab somebody at least every 3 days.
It was actually
take that as one of your derangements, yo.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like you're at what day is today? Is it Tuesday? Hold on a second.
Then I have to stab somebody.
All right.
Let me check my calendar real quick.
Just have a complete conversation with somebody. Be completely normal. Oh, what time is it? Okay, hold on a second. Stab. So anyway, as I was saying,
why'd you do that? Because that's what I
didn't do anything. So anyway.
Move along.
Somebody's bleeding. Well, why don't you clean that up? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea. Where the hell did that come from?
actually, Anora has a rule where if you bleed on her floor in her domain, she like gets really pissed because that shit's really hard to get off the concrete.
Oh, that carpet, man, it really ruins it.
No, she's concrete, and she literally they brought in. I think it was a hunter, but one of the gang girl actually had the courtesy because of my no blood on my floor rules to like wrap him in a tarp before bringing him inside because she does not like blood on her floor.
Okay, some folks have asked me, what is a fish mouth? And I say, I have a really hard time describing it, and then I found somebody. If you go to YouTube, look up a guy by the name of Vermin Supreme.
I don't even like that.
He's run for president since the 70s. Dude wears a boot on his head. He's a member of the Pony Party. If he's elected president, everybody gets a pony.
I want that guy in office.
Yes, me too. That's who I'm planning to vote for because I got news.
Right now,
None
give
of
me
the
the dude
rest
with the
of
boot
my
on his head.
options are good.
I'm all for that. I'm writing him in.
I'm telling you. But he's also going to have, it's going to be federal law that you have to brush your teeth. That's what I'm talking about. This dude is the epitome of a fish mouth.
Oh, he's awesome.
He is. Go look him up. He's fucking great. I love the way he speaks. He speaks like a president. But what's coming out of his mouth is just straight up Malkavian.
See, that's just like having a super high charisma skill. You know, I mean,
he's got presence. Don't get me wrong. He's got presence.
Yeah.
No doubt. Even with a boot on his head.
Well, that just kind of adds to it. That like adds to the appeal, I would think. It's like, oh, that guy's cool. He's got a boot on his head.
His name is Vermin Supreme.
Okay, I'm gonna Google this guy.
Some interesting things with Malkavians. I mean, like you can have a Malkavian who still thinks the world is flat.
Yes. And if he believes hard enough, it will be.
You know, and that's an argument there.
Oh wow!
Or just believes he's on a ship all the time. You know, it's just like, hey, you know, I'm gonna go get a drink.
There's legend has it that the reason the Malkavians are insane is because they know too much.
Well, wouldn't you go insane if you had like all this knowledge going on in your brain all at once?
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's be honest here. Like, if you had what you believe like all of it, like you think that you are just spewing nothing but the truth. You wouldn't think yourself to be like quote unquote insane. You just think that that's the legit, honest truth.
The way the world is, you know?
Yeah. So and that's what I mean about Malks being really easily stereotyped too, is because every single Malk has that commonness of no. I'm telling you the truth. Like everything I'm saying, it's completely the truth. What do you mean it's not the truth? You're a liar. Like, that's you know? Right. So it definitely trust me, an adventure's last words. Trust me. I love those two words. I really do. Chris.
That's why I've always paid attention mostly to if there is a Malkavian in the game, I pay very close attention.
I did that once, and it was the biggest mistake I ever did.
Well, there's a reason for it. Is because one of their clan arrangements is they will frenzy it for no reason.
Oh yeah, like that's just.
And that's the motherfucker you got to keep an eye on.
See, I really enjoy doing in the Camarilla setting is honestly either playing a follower set or a Giovanni just to see what people do.
Right.
Just to observe them for a little bit. You know? Because you never know what's up their sleeve.
No.
Like what you have. And then you can just make deals with people just to see how it goes.
Yeah.
They're only slightly more trustworthy than a Setite.
But Tremir's are the most trustworthy. I'm just going to put that out there.
It all depends.
Everything we tell you.
You guys have herds, right? I mean, where do you think you're going to be getting them from? All it takes is just a little bit of,
Okay.
things pushed in the right direction, and then
blood banks are a beautiful thing.
The one clan that doesn't seem to get mentioned a lot are the Nos. And I don't know a lot of folks that played them.
Oh, man.
Hubby is a Nos Prince right now, actually.
I have played so many Nosferatu and Titrabu. I mean, it's been nuts.
The Prince of New York's a Nos.
Yeah, I mean...
No, it's actually like I've never played a Nos, but watching my husband play a Nos, like, there's, and again, I guess it depends on the player and how you build your Nos, but there's so much that can be done with them.
Yes. Because
and I don't
obfuscate is nasty if you use it right.
Oh, it's very nasty. And I really don't think that people consider how much that can be done with Nosferatu. And because of that, they kind of just, like, brush them off.
Well, I don't want to be ugly. Fuck,
yeah, exactly.
Somebody else.
And
it's like, you don't want to be ugly. You guys want to have lights in Elysium?
Right?
I think that is exactly what it is that turns a lot of people off of Nosferatu, and it really shouldn't. It's the whole I'm ugly thing. But if you go to the reason why they're ugly, like, that in itself is like a really drawing somebody in kind of like if I was ever going to play Nosferatu, the reason that they are the way they are would be enough of a reason for me to want to play one.
Well, I mean, the other thing is that with Obfuscate, you can look like something else.
Yeah, Mask of a Thousand Faces.
Exactly.
So the thing is that you can actually literally walk into somebody's, like, house
as somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and they don't know about it. And you can say, "Hey, you know your that rose you keep on the vase on the right side of your bed?
Yeah.
You know, we need to talk a little bit because I think you might owe me a favor."
Yeah, exactly. Right, and
that's
they're really,
how you play. I mean, that's what you do is that you mess with everybody's head in the game.
They're the information getters. They're very creepy, in the dark, shadowy, more so than your average, kindred. But
yeah,
they have the skill set. They have the skill set to be able to pull that off. And a lot of people, I think, don't see that. They just go, "Oh, yeah, no, they're like the bottom of the totem pole. I don't want to play them." But they're not.
It's like, no, my buddy Chip here, my buddy Chip the Squirrel just outed your entire drug operation that the Bruja are running. So why don't you give me a piece of that?
Which is why it's actually really interesting watching my husband play a Nosferatu Prince, because he's got his fingers in like every single pie.
Absolutely.
And it's like,
the Shrek
okay, I don't want to know.
Everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Okay, we're coming up on our 2.5, so we're going to go ahead and call it here in about 3 minutes. I want to thank our guests, Victor, who sadly had to go because he was feeling unwell, and Chris for jumping in. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
When he had to roll. And Lexie, it's been an awesome evening. I appreciate it. Can I keep you on the list for somebody to call from time to time?
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure.
Awesome.
Cool.
And, of course, Brother Eric, we're going to have you in for the Mummy Show.
Dude, that'd be awesome. I can't wait.
I totally do want to be on the Women of Gaming show, though. Like,
well, we've done one of those already. Did you listen
to that? It seems to be popular, too.
And it's one of our most popular ones.
It is.
So.
I'd love to be, if you guys ever did a second one, I would totally be in that one.
We will. I'd like to get Dana in for that one, too.
Yeah.
She would be a good guest for that show.
Sure.
Because it was Jessica and Vanessa, I believe, who was our guests for that one.
Sounds right.
Jessica's one of those lucky bastards that are actually going to the Masquerade.
She's actually there.
God. You people suck. All of you. You just suck. That's all right. Next year in Jerusalem. We're good.
Jeez. Peter, that's how you lose viewers.
Nah. They know I don't mean it.
Uh-huh.
I am not a vindictive or nasty individual. I may say nasty things from time to time, but I don't really mean them.
Don't forget to thank Jacob. You haven't thanked Jacob yet.
I was getting to Jacob.
He doesn't care about me.
No, I do. I do. Dude, you are half the reason we're still going.
Okay? All right, now don't stroke his ego too much. Just
he keeps up our Twitter feed. He keeps. I try to post stuff to the TT page, but he gets to stuff before I do usually.
He's
apparently has a lot of time on his hands. So,
yeah.
So I will always be happy to have Jacob. He is, like I said, he's half the reason we're still going.
And you're the other half, right?
No, our guests.
Oh,
our
clever,
guests are the
man.
other half of the reason why we're still going.
You're welcome.
We get really good folks. We've lucked out. We really do. I can't stress this enough. Is that when we first started doing this, I wanted to interview everybody that we were going to have on the show before the show. And I did do that with a couple of folks, and there's some of those folks didn't wind up as guests because they just didn't come across well. Okay,
right.
I can smell a problem a mile away, and so, but that's been rare. It's as far as I know, there's only been 2 that I interviewed prior to the show and just said no, I can't do it. They can't. I just don't think this is going to work. But our folks, our subscribers, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Get your people to do the same. If they're into the system, especially if Sabrina goes out and actually gets involved in that LARP group, she needs to let them know about us. And we'll get some of those people on. And after Sabrina has her first LARP experience, we're going to have her on. Maybe yes. That would be, because that's fun to do. Jacob didn't really do LARP until the show started, did you? Jake?
No, I don't think he did.
Sorry, I missed the question, bud.
I said you didn't really do LARP until the show, right?
I had never tried it before, no. I did it as initial research for our LARP episode.
Okay, and now you're hooked. Did the same with Vanessa. She's all hooked on it now. Primarily because we, did a show about it. And we had some really good LARP folks on for that one. So,
it's all over the place.
Again, I want to thank everybody for showing up tonight and keeping the chat lively. And again, I want to thank our guests. And I hope to hear back from y'all soon. We will be back in 2 weeks. I will be posting the topic since we can actually schedule our streams up beforehand, and it does a countdown, and that's all the coolness there can be.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna make sure that gets put up fairly soon after the previous show, so that y'all know what we're going to be doing, and it'll update you on your phones and other little technological devices that people carry around nowadays.
Doohickeys.
I saw New Wave. I think that's awesome, dude. Thank you. New Wave, please tell your friends, and we will be back in 2 weeks, guys. So everybody say good night.
Good night.